In 1874, a woman walked into a hospital in Cincinnati with a hole in her skull so large you could see her brain pulsing beneath the skin. This is the story of Mary Rafferty and the doctor who killed her in the name of science. Mary was a poor Irish servant girl. Years earlier, as a child, she had fallen into a fire and burned her scalp so badly that the wound never properly healed. By the time she arrived at the Good Samaritan Hospital, the scar tissue had eroded away completely, leaving a section of her brain exposed to open air. She could have lived for months with proper care. She smiled easily. She trusted the people around her. And then she met Dr. Roberts Bartholow. He looked at her exposed brain and saw something else entirely. Not a patient, not a person who needed help. Good material. So what exactly did he do to her? Let me paint you a picture, my curious test subjects. Mary Rafferty had an exposed brain. The tissue was right there, visible, accessible. And Dr. Bartholow realized something. He could do experiments on a living human brain that had only ever been done on animals. In medical ethics terms, that means he saw an opportunity to try whatever he wanted. Now, to be clear, Mary was described as mentally and physically weak. She was vulnerable, she was poor. She had no family advocating for her. Think of it like being a test subject in a clinical trial. Except nobody asked, nobody explained, and nobody could say no. Bartholow started cautiously. He inserted needle electrodes of various lengths directly into Mary's exposed brain and connected them to a battery. When he ran the current through, her arm shot out. Her fingers extended, but she reported no pain in the brain itself. Interesting, he thought. Let's see what else happens. He moved the needle from the left lobe to the right. Still no pain in the brain, but when he increased the strength of the current, his words, not mine, to develop more decided reactions, things changed fast. Mary began to complain of acute pain in her neck. Her face showed great distress. She started to cry. Then her left hand extended as if reaching for something that wasn't there. Her arm began to spasm. Her eyes went wide, pupils dilated, frozen in place. Her lips turned blue. She frothed at the mouth. Her breathing became labored and strange. And then she lost consciousness and convulsed violently for 5 full minutes. When it finally stopped, she fell into a coma. 20 minutes later, she woke up, and Bartholow wrote it all down. Observation complete. Completely normal hospital behavior, obviously. But here's the thing. He wasn't done. Not even close. Now you might be wondering, and this is the question you should be asking my curious test subjects. What happened to Mary after that first convulsion? Did they stop the experiments? Did they give her time to recover? Did anyone think maybe this was a bad idea? Spoiler, they did not. 2 days later, Mary was brought back to the electrical room. She was pale, depressed. Her lips were blue. She had trouble walking. She complained of severe numbness spreading through her body. When they examined her, they found something they probably should have expected. Decided paresis. In medical ethics terms, that means partial paralysis and rigidity of the muscles on her right side. Her body was shutting down. She was about to lose consciousness again right there in front of them, so they laid her down and gave her chloroform. The next day, Mary was worse. Much worse. She stayed in bed. She was described as stupid and incoherent. That evening, she had another convulsive seizure, and after that, she slipped into total unconsciousness. Complete paralysis on the right side. Her pupils were dilated and motionless. She never woke up. When did she die? We don't actually know. Bartholow's report doesn't say. The next word that appears after describing her final state is simply this: autopsy. He documented her decline like someone tracking a science fair project. Observation 1, Observation 2, Observation 3, Observation 4, Observation 5, autopsy. Totally unrelated to the electrodes, I'm sure. And here's the truly incredible part. Bartholow published all of this. He wrote it up honestly, described exactly what he did, and submitted it for the world to read. His biographer later said he gained no credit for his candor in reporting the whole affair. A hint, if you're paying attention, for future experimenters. Maybe don't write it down. But did it ruin his career? Absolutely not. Not long after Mary was in her grave, Jefferson Medical College in Philadelphia offered him a professorship. He later became dean. And all it took was one vulnerable woman, one exposed brain, and one doctor willing to call torture observation. Turns out you can electrocute someone to death, write it up honestly, and still get promoted. In medical ethics terms, that means the system worked exactly as designed. Mary Rafferty walked into the Good Samaritan Hospital, a name that could not be more bitterly ironic, trusting the people in white coats to help her. She smiled easily and frequently, we're told. She had the trust of someone who believed she was among friends. And in exchange for that trust, she got needle electrodes in her brain, violent convulsions, paralysis, and death. All in the name of science. All perfectly legal. All completely celebrated. If this story made you feel something, hit subscribe. We've got plenty more where that came from, my curious test subjects.